Hello, hello. Microphone check one, two. If anybody's watching live, comment in the chat about my audio. How's my audio today? Let me pop out the chat here.
Let's talk about YouTube.
That's not the chat. Let's see. So today is Friday, April the 8th. April 10th, 2020. If you're watching live or on replay, comment below. Let me know where are you watching from? Where are you located? And how is your situation over there? It's currently 10 a.m. for me. 10:09 a.m. currently. Ooh, the screen is a bit hazy. I wonder if it's my I wonder if it's my it's my camera lens here. Let me wipe this down. Okay, it's a little better. A little better. Okay. So let's get started. Today we're going to talk about likeness and accuracy. How to get a better likeness and how to do it quickly. Oh, we got a comment from Mr. Bernardo from Brazil, 12 a.m. Thank you for staying up late. So we're going to talk about likeness. How to get a likeness. Now, there's a couple ways. I mean, there's a lot of ways to think about. But in terms of movie poster art, and especially as a sketch artist, we want to get what's called the read. I think if you're watching this, you know what that means. It's you can recognize who it is and what they're doing, what's happening. The read, right? Oftentimes it's called the poster read. So what is the poster read? What is the read and how do we get it? Well, for me, from the way that I approach drawing and the way that I see great posters and great illustrations, great book covers, and I think we're all kind of similar, is that, let me try a different pencil here. The first thing that we want to get is what's called the silhouette. It's a French word. Oh, I think I mispronounced that. Misspelled. Oh, I forgot the E. Silhouette. Silhouette. What's the silhouette? Silhouette is the outer shape. It's a French word that means the outer shape. Now, what's powerful about the silhouette is that you can recognize someone based on the silhouette. And I think we've all experienced this. So comment below if you've experienced this. Let's say you're with a friend, a close friend, a really close friend or close family member. someone that you've known for years. You're out. Let's say you go out to the market, or the grocery store, or the mall, or any public place with a friend, close friend or family member, and then you guys get separated, right? You get separated, and then maybe 2, 3, or 4, or 5 minutes later, you see them from a distance. Comment below if you've had this. You can recognize someone that you know for a long time in a crowded place from a distance. I do it all the time. If I'm with my girlfriend or I'm with a close friend, I know their silhouette, I know their body language. This is more for figures, but we're going to talk about faces today. I could recognize someone I know very closely in a crowded place based on the silhouette. They all kind of have their unique silhouette. So that's key, and it works very well in faces. So silhouette or outer shape. Now, what's beautiful thing about shapes is that besides um, the outer shape, there's also interior shapes. Interior shapes within the form. So, for example, let's say we have a close friend, and draw with this. Let's say it's me. Let's say it's me. Um, I have kind of a rectangular kind of face. I usually put wax in my hair to spike it up, right? As I get older, I get less of it, but that's okay. I have a my neck's not too long, and there you go. So that's my interior. And let's say the sun is up here. So probably in a room full of people, someone who knew me well could probably recognize my silhouette, or if someone I knew had this silhouette. Now, we want to nail that, obviously. And to get even more of that quick poster read, we can also start to include the interior shapes because they have silhouette, especially if they have light and shadow. So, for example, I have a wide, Southeast Asian nose, kind of it's a bit wider. My nostril shape is wider. I have little tiny lips, so smaller silhouette, and I kind of have this big. I have a deep brow and big bug eyes. My um, eyes are kind of round, and I have a bit of my face is a little lean, not lately. I gained a lot of weight lately, so I have that silhouette of that cheek, right? Comment below if any of you have done a head drawing lately, and you've had that little cheek shape, someone with a lean face. So that's that's a silhouette read. That's a poster read. And then if I do this, it's not right. It's not a finished drawing. It's not a finished drawing, and I have a big forehead with a receding hairline. Unfortunately, there you go. Kind of looks like Tony Ferguson. Anybody here? Looks like Tony Ferguson. He's a UFC MMA fighter. Comment below if you know who that is, or if you watch UFC. Okay, so that's just a quick example of a silhouette read. Let's do a female. Then I'll do a couple examples. So I'm gonna draw my girlfriend. What the heck? No, she has a round face or an oval face. She has more curves in her face than me. She doesn't have a lean face with this kind of sunken in cheek jaw thing. She has more of this like heart shaped, soft female face. She's a female, right? Her ears don't stick out. and she has long, long hair. So right away, you see that? That instant boom poster read. You see what I'm saying? Big difference, right? Big difference right away. In a crowded room, you would say, these are two totally different people. You would know, okay, that's this person, this another person. This one's probably a female. So imagine in a poster, right? In a poster, you design with these two. Let's say you're required to draw a lead actor, and let's say the lead actor is Tony Ferguson. He's an MMA guy. You can look him up. He looks like me right now, Tony Ferguson. And the lead female is Constance Wu, this the Asian lady from Crazy Rich Asians. And and my girlfriend has a longer nose than me. It's not as wide, longer nose, and she has less sunken in eyes, but she does. A lot of girls wear the eyebrow thing. She accents her eyebrows, right? And she accents her eyes with makeup. She has high cheekbones, so I'm going to start with the oval but pop out on the side. And she wears, God, this is an awful drawing, actually. It doesn't look anything like her. Oh, God. She often wears lipstick. She has a much shorter forehead than me. Doesn't look anything like her, but that's okay. So you see, we have well, because she has long hair, that's part of her silhouette read. That's part of her silhouette poster read. And sometimes she puts waves in her hair. And her features aren't as, her brow isn't as defined as mine. But one thing that does stand out for her is the nature of her cheeks. Her cheeks are kind of like that. A lot of Asian people have really high pronounced cheekbones, so that's something you could use. We'll talk more about that to establish the silhouette quickly. And in females, especially the more glamorous actress types, model types, they you know their eyebrow can be a nice silhouette read versus like a more manly sunken in look, right? So that's just the idea that we're going to explore today, and I'm going to draw some more famous faces so you might be able to recognize. But I think we all kind of understand this. We've all heard this before. Maybe um, at New Masters, I've talked about this a lot. On my previous videos, I've talked about this concept a lot. But for the poster artist and for the person who wants to develop their portfolio, you have to you have to be very strict, and you have to be a master of the silhouette. So let me take a little water break and read your comments here. Okay, let me check the comments here. Shailesh, forgive me if I mispronounce your name, Shailesh. Hi, Shailesh from India. Oh, I love the way you explain. Thank you, sir. Wow. Yeah, the screen is foggy. I think it's my. Let me try to clean it again. Something on my camera lens. Excuse me. It doesn't help. I'm gonna have to clean my camera. Yeah, sorry about that. And the white balance will be off. I'm working on um, going to get proper lights and a proper camera. Saran, Sarana one from Holland. Wow. Thank you for joining us. God, it must be very early in the morning for you. Tiago says Chris versus Khabib. Okay. Tiago knows it's UFC. Uh, Siren One says possible talk about placement. Yeah. Oh man, the that's really important. You mentioned that you were in your 40s that you put in the era. Did you take movie post when he taught there? That's a great. I'll come back to that. Jawad answered a great question. I'm working flatting comic page. Wow. Wow, Serrano One's a comics artist. Man, thank you for joining us. So those are two great ideas. Let's and also too obviously you're going to get reference if you're a poster artist, you're going to get reference. So that does help a lot, and it kind of gives you a point of reference, especially if you've never drawn that person before. That'll be very common. You know, you'll come up with a new actress or actor. So I'm on Pinterest right now, and I'm gonna look at some. And to practice this, what I would do is start with someone who has a very um, easy to read silhouette. Um, for example, last night I drew this a bodybuilder. Maybe I'll start with him. Maybe I'll start with I drew this bodybuilder named Caleb von Munger. He looks just like Arnold Schwarzenegger, a young Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he has like a really really beautiful and clear silhouette. Oh, Arnold's kind of tough too. But they Arnold as the Terminator with the glasses is easy. Let's see. That's too easy. If you I'm looking at reference of Arnold. I'm seeing a lot of a Terminator with the glasses on. It's too easy, I think. I'm trying to find one with his eyes. A person who has a tough silhouette that I tried to draw recently was God, what's his name? Joaquin Phoenix, who did the Joker. Man, it's weird. I can't find any Arnolds without the glasses on. Okay, here's some. Here's one. Okay. If you Google, now we know about head types too. So this, let me write this down. And I'm going to try to squeeze in as much as I can in an hour or less, 30 minutes now. So head types, right? They typically come in these general basic shapes, really square, really wide. Triangular, angular, kind of heart shape. I've all heard of that. That's someone with like a wide face with a pointy chin. So one thing to do is to recognize head types. I'm looking at a picture of Arnold Schwarzenegger from the movie Red Heat, and right away, at least in this photo, he's a big block. He's a big blocky guy. He's I'm looking at the corner of his hair here. He has like this spiky, not spiky, but slick back 80s hair. Corner of his jaw. If you're drawing a male, a lot of times the corner of the jaw will be evident. And the now what I could do is, and I've already done this. I've exaggerated his head type. I made him very blocky because this is the read I want. This is the poster read I want, and I'm gonna thicken his neck, huge shoulders, so this kind of thick, masculine, manly bodybuilder type read is pretty. It's pretty easy to start with. That's why I started on it. And that's the poster read I want, right? If the poster was like this, little tiny things 20 feet away from me, we could get the main actor here, his silhouette of his body here, his let's say his hairstyles real distinct. They could put some stuff here at the bottom, another silhouette, the city, something like that. Boom. So that's a really fast read that I was able to get. Now we know that's not that's not a finished that's not a finished drawing, but obviously it communicates a lot already just by the silhouette. So our likeness is, I would say, 50% there. 50% there. Now let's get the interior shapes. Uh, so the this is very important in terms of placement as well. The number one thing I try to do is I set off everything based on the center of the face, which runs through the center of the face, through the nose, specifically center of the brow, center of the mouth and the features. But I look through the nose and kind of run a line through it. And I also look through the eye, so the tear duct and the eyeball. I run a line through the eyeballs. In this case, he's looking slightly up, so I'm going to curve. So now this is the foundation for my entire feature placement. So if I was in a bit of a rush, obviously if you're in a real time crush, I would use projectors, and would use a projector. But I just kind of want to give you the idea that you can you can get a pretty good likeness just based on a good arrangement and design of the shape. So already I feel we're getting there. And not I'm trying to not do too much detail in this pass. Gotta give him some more chin. Arnold has this famous big muzzle. He's got a big mouth, not a big mouth, but a big muzzle structure. He's a big beefy guy. I'm gonna pop out his jaw a little bit just to prove a point. It's a little too caricature-ish. There's a fine line between caricature and realism, and you want to walk that line. See, I think we're like 60, 70% there. The likeness is there. Um, and again, the reference is absolutely key. So getting a good reference, a good shot to work with, and then comes the shadow shape, which also I can use to describe the form and more of his character. So we've all seen, at least if you watch me, I do this religiously. It's sort of the Riley school ingrained in me, and also Houston as well. Houston, is more known for his figures, but he religiously um, does this where we shadow shape is a tool, is a form drawing tool for us. It's a drawing tool. It's not necessarily a shading tool. It's a drawing mechanism. I would say, it's not perfect, but we're like 80% there. And as a poster comp, this, you know, I think this would be very successful. Let's see what he's wearing. And then, obviously in the movie posters, they're not going to be naked. They're going to be wearing their outfit. So this is another way to nail a likeness. Let's say, you're still working on your faces, or maybe the face isn't that great, but if you can come down and give them some context with the outfit. So in this particular movie, Red Heat, so Arnold's I guess he's a Russian military guy. So he's a Russian soldier wearing a Russian officer, wearing a Russian officer outfit. So boom, right away this adds to the read. So if this were a comp, you know, these just what it did right there, you know, as a whole, it's adding to the likeness. Hope that makes sense there. And I'll briefly touch on um, placement. Serrano one asked for some placement. I think once I have the center of the eyes, I build everything around that. I have the center of the eyes. I know that the nose is roughly it's not it's roughly halfway between the center of the eye and the bottom of the chin, the bottom of the nose. So it's roughly there, halfway. I always I operate on the rule of thirds and the rule of halves. Rule of thirds and rule of halves. Rule of I don't want to get too much into proportion and placement, but basically the rule of thirds, you can place the hairline, the brow, bottom of the nose, and bottom of the head, and that's the basic of it. I think you have to watch it. The best way to explain it is to watch it in action. If we were in a class together, when I teach the head drawing in person, we look at the model together and you can see, oh yeah, the rule of halves does work, or it can work. And I didn't make this rule up. I believe it's related to the Loomis model. So that's the rule of halves and the rule of thirds. Places the brow bone, the hairline, the bottom of the nose, and the bottom of the chin. That's the rule of thirds. So everything in the rule of halves also works vertically. So the eyes are halfway, center of the eyes are halfway between the side of the face, and, so on and so forth. So that's just a quick thing. I think to see it in action will be more helpful. So let's draw our friend Arnold here. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab a pen. Excuse me. I'm gonna grab a Lamy pen, a ballpoint pen. Hmm. I don't like that. So now this is exactly what I would do on the job. This is why I want to show you. I would sketch out the outer shape, interior shapes, and then I would come in and use whatever light and shadow or dark light pattern I had. So this eye. So I did something with this eye too. I exaggerated the smallness. So, obviously you've seen caricatures where, right, let's say a caricature of that guy Bean. He's a British comedian, Bean, and he has a big nose. You've probably seen people draw him with big nose. If someone has a big nose, it's a good idea to exaggerate the big nose. That's how you get the likeness. Like me, I have my ears stick out. So if you're gonna draw me, you pop my ears out. I have wide nostrils. Right? I don't want to pick on people. So Arnold has, for relative to his face, he has small eyes. He's a big, blocky, manly dude. He's big. He's a big guy. So I'm gonna draw little tiny eyes, and I'm gonna shrink the ears a little bit. Again, there's a fine line between caricature. See, I would argue I got a likeness. It's not perfect, right? It's not a photo real yet. Um, if I needed a tight finish, see, pop out that jaw. Push the blockiness of him. Use more straights than I normally. Well, I typically draw in straights. And has anybody here tried to draw either Arnold or other celebrities lately? Comment below if you tried to draw like an actor or a celebrity that you like. I believe Mark Westermo worked. He did Total Recall, and he did um, Terminator 2. That must have been really fun. Worked on those campaigns. And Mark actually did the finish of Total Recall, which is a really famous, I believe it's in the 80s as well. He actually did the finished poster, and I saw it in his house. It's not, there's no faces on it. It's very, it's a giant, I believe it's acrylic. It's an acrylic painting of a space with a triangle, with a pyramid. It's very interesting. And it's huge. It's way bigger. It's like, it's life size or poster size. It's the same size that you would see hanging up at the movie theater. Now it's starting to look like Dolph Lundgren now. See that hair? You know that hair, that hair shape adds to the likeness of the character. This cool like Ivan Drago hairstyle looking. I don't know how to describe it. And there you go. You know, obviously, you know what's next is to fill in the shape and do all that, the light and shadow shape. That'll continue to tell the rest of the story, continue to show the form, and do everything we need to help us communicate this actor in this pose. And as a comp artist, you know, that's the next step is blocking the tone. You can even stop here and show it to the designer, director, whoever gave you the assignment, and say, hey, what do you think of my comp? What do you think of what do you think of my layout? You know, do you like you know, do you like the characters I put here? You can show it to them, and at this stage before you get started, and actually that would be very smart to do. I need to do more of that. And I'll start with this head type. Okay, I'll take a little break here. I'll try to squeeze in one more a female, if I can find one. Okay, I got one. And let me take a look at your questions here. Oh, Bernardo said Drew Jodie Foster. That's such a good. That poster was so striking. Yeah, she's a great actress too. Blade Runner. Oh, Harrison Ford. Yeah, he's really fun to draw. And his Blade Runner, I believe that's when he was at his peak. He's still great to draw. I mean, he's getting older now, you know. But his Indiana Jones, Blade Runner peak. Try Arnold Hercules in New York. Oh yeah. I'm working on a floating comic page. Hi, sir. There are instances to improve accuracy actually when trying to draw things differently. Oh, that's great. I'll come back to that, Louise. Hi, there are a few Westermo and Paul Wee on YouTube. Yeah, Mr. Chin, Westermo and Paul Wee on YouTube. Yeah, they are amazing. God, man, that was Mark when he was still healthy. Unfortunately, you know, as Mark got older, his health was failing every year. So his vision and his hand, his body, specifically his hand, you could his hand was getting weak. I believe it's because his organs were failing, so that made his hand not as strong. But if you Yeah, if you Google on YouTube, the channel is called Way Better Art. Someone posted drawings of Mark Westermo doing figure drawing demos. Kate Winslet. Wow, thank you all for joining me live. This is great. All right. So I'm going to do a drawing Madonna. You can tell how old I am. I'm picking all these old farts. Madonna. 1986, famous photo of her. She's against the wall looking up. And for you young folks out there, Madonna was a famous pop star from my generation, from the 80s. uh, I believe she's still around. Comment below. Is Madonna still around, right? I think she's still doing movies or something, or touring. My God. So look at the head type. Look at the head type. And, there's all kinds, but they're basically a variation of either something boxy, something more angular like a triangle. Triangle people have very small pointy chins. And from the side, you'll see that a lot. Lots of people have round faces. They're either perfectly round, ovally high, or ovally wide, like a Cartman. I mean, Cartman's a cartoon character, but actor that comes to mind has a round face, oval round face is Danny DeVito. He's another old fart from my generation, and so boxy. They're either kind of boxy, they're either kind of round, or they're angular. And there's nuances to that, but that's what you look for. So I'm looking at Madonna, right? And I'm going, well, in is she boxy? Is she round? Is she angular? Well, in this photo, she's boxy. She has a lean face, actually. Lean face, lean jaw. I believe Madonna's ethnically Italian. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you. The whole purpose of this kind of video is to show you like how 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 I would work on the job and how I think the way that I think about silhouette and shape has helped me not only get the job but stay working. Because it's a fast way. Because what it does, it gives you that quick, fast read, that poster read. So here we go. Here's her kind of boxy head. Now she's looking up. It's not straight on. It's looking up. She got some hair, interesting hair. I'm gonna exaggerate that because that's part of her character. Is that hair shape? So I can play with that. There's margin for error there, so I'm definitely gonna use it and play with it. If I was on an assignment to draw her in a movie, and this was her hairstyle, I would definitely play with it and use it. Not only in design, but to get the likeness. So here's a placement issue. Where is the center of her eyes? And the short answer is I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna guess. That's why you do it in pencil. I'm gonna guess it's roughly here. I'm looking at the forehead and the bottom of the chin. And these I guessed too. So I'm just gonna put it in there. And if this is the center, this is the forehead. I know the brow bone is here. Roughly, the bottom of the nose is here. Center lips is here. That's rough estimation. All of that can change. What I'm trying to do is quickly get to the shadow shape, the interior shape. I think the outer shape has succeeded. I like the outer shape. I like the shape of her hair. I have that as a clue. She's wearing like a leather jacket in this shot. I can definitely use that. In this shot, you can see the top of her bosom, you know. She's wearing a low cut shirt, so you can see the top of her bosom, her chest. It's not. Whoops, we don't have enough for that. So I'm quickly trying to get to the shadow shape. So I'm looking at the keystone now. Now I'm gonna construct shadow shape based on observation skills. Socket first. Because she's looking up and she's wearing eye makeup, um, the socket shadow is pronounced. So I'm definitely going to use that. I'm going to follow the curve of the socket. Let's see if we can get this likeness. See, that's a Riley rhythm right there. I mean, the more I think about how useful Riley method is for movie poster art, it's like, it's mind-boggling. Which is why Mark's students are also successful in the entertainment business. For those of you who don't know, Mark Westermo founded a school when he was young in the 90s called Associates, and Jawad mentioned Associates. And Mike Butkus was there. He had a studio there, also taught there. He had a studio upstairs. And Mark Westermo's students are like a who's who of entertainment pros. First one that comes to mind is Kevin Chen. So Kevin Chen, he's famous for founding a school called Concept Design Academy, but he's one of the most prolific professionals out there. He doesn't, he doesn't broadcast what he's done. He's very, very quiet and humble about it. He's not like me, trying to trying to get on YouTube and tell the whole world all of our secrets. But they're not secrets to me. I mean, nothing I'm saying is new. Nothing I'm saying is magic. And just because you take a Riley method class, if there is one, Marx is the only one in the world, I believe, archived, doesn't mean you can get any results at all. You kind of have to put a lot of work in it. Okay, so it's not 100% there. The picture is small and I can't blow it up. And if you guys stay to the end of the stream, I'm going to give you a little bonus. I really appreciate you coming on live here. And Madonna's wearing eye makeup and lashes. So, it's not perfect. It's not perfect. But we're close. Very close. And let's see if I can use that hair. The hair helps. See, the hair is helping. She got this cool kind of 80s hairstyle. Okay, the cheekbone, that's what's off. So my placement of this cheekbone is off. I'm trying to exaggerate. So she has really high, pretty cheekbones right here. But I need to see the placement was way off. I'm gonna stand up. Okay. See, I'm like too close. I'm sitting down. I'm way too close to the drawing. So if I stand up, right? See how it moved from here to here? Definitely helpful to stand up. Don't get too close to your drawings. That's me taking my own advice. I recently drew a head drawing for a poster idea for Kingdom. Some of you may have seen it on my Instagram. It's a it's a Korean, it's an Asian man, and it's a dark drawing, right? And that motherfucker took me like 4 days because I was constantly, I would draw a little bit and then step away 20 feet. I would draw a little bit and then step away 20 feet, look in the mirror. I took my time because I was like, God, I need to work on my craftsmanship. Normally, I would just be real sloppy and run and gun and not be disciplined, but I was forcing myself to be more disciplined, take my time and look away. See how that helped a lot. The likeness is way better now, way better. And let's say in this movie, let's say Madonna's acting in a movie, and part of her character has really funky, interesting earrings. Let's say they're these big hoops, right? The moment I do that, boom, the art director would go, "Oh yeah, Chris, your likeness is great. Yeah, keep going." You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? If that's part of the character in this movie, that little touch will help you. So I'm using everything that I have, everything in my power to get this likeness. And it didn't take long, right? Oh, I've been drawing maybe 5-10 minutes, and I'm talking. So imagine if I wasn't talking, it'd be really fast. Then obviously, if I had to, if if the job was really serious, um, or if it needed really high level of photo finish, I would use the projector, tracing paper, scanner, copier. I would definitely use the Pro Tools. Okay, so so Madonna is, speaking of Mark, I'm gonna do this OG Mark Westermo style. Shout out to Mark. May you rest in peace. I normally use very thin, but Mark starts with Prisma Black and finishes with very thin. I do the opposite. I love the damn very thin so much. Anybody here watching has seen Mark Westermo on the NMA? His Any of his lessons? Either you watch the free beginner lesson, which is great, by the way. The cast drawing, that thing is so cool. It's not his best work, but you will learn a lot about you will learn a lot about head drawing. It looks on the surface like a shading lesson, but you'll learn so much about head drawing from that. Or maybe you've seen Mark's Riley method on NMA, or so we're getting there as I'm nailing the shape. So the outer head has a silhouette. Each feature has its own unique silhouette. So I have to be very mindful of that. Her lips have a very unique silhouette, and one way to really nail a likeness is you got to get the corners right. And I'm still, God, I'm still something I'm still working on is to nail uh, the shape and the angle of the corner. I don't know if you guys saw my Instagram. I did a drawing of Henry Cavill, The Witcher. He's like this big muscular dude with white hair. And I did this side view kind of poster comp drawing, and that motherfucker took me forever too. And the thing that I probably redrew 100 times was the damn side of his mouth. I was like, fuck. Wasn't happy with it. I was like, Jesus. The side of the mouth is so important. And whenever I made little changes, it got better. And then I changed something else, and then it fell apart. And I'm like, oh my god, this is real life. this is real. This is real. So you know, in a lot of ways, I'm just like you guys watching. I'm a lifelong student too. I keep learning and making mistakes, and keep learning, keep making mistakes, keep trying to refine and study. I think that's why all watching we all like to draw so much, because especially in the realism game, the realist artists, you will die. You will die. You will live 100 years, and you will die unhappy with your work because it never ends. The level of refinement you can get as a realist will never end. You can live 200 years and you will die unsatisfied. That's why it makes it so much fun. Anyway, I think we're good here. Let's just quickly wrap up, and then I'll answer some of your questions. The likeness is not 100% right. I think, first of all, my reference is small. I can barely see it. I'm looking at my computer screen. It's way over to my right. I can't blow it up, so that would help. I think Madonna has, she kind of has this little bit of a buck teeth. So if I can get in and nail her mouth, nail the shape of her mouth, that would help. This this is the shape and silhouette of her eye. So I exaggerated that. Notice I pulled that out. That was a conscious choice. You'll see a lot of designers and illustrators, comic guys, poster guys, they really pop out that eyelash. Her head shape, she has a beautiful cheekbone. I popped that out. And the shape of her hair. So, right, it's not perfect, but probably 80% there. It's definitely enough to show the director, be like, let's say you got a poster comp, and poster comp was, let's say, was this exact pose, this exact reference. The director said, all right, I want Madonna in this pose with her leather jacket, and I want a picture of New York City here, right, and her dancing here, right? Whatever. I just made that up. So that's your that's the thumbnail you got. You took you 5 minutes to get this, and you say, hey, Mr. AD, what do you think so far? Boom. You for 5-10 minutes, you've accomplished your job. So I hope that helps. Just to quickly review, and this isn't the only. I mean, head drawing will take you years to learn properly. A head drawing class, if you were to take a proper head drawing class, depending on which style, but in the West Coast, in the LA, West Coast realism for illustrators, you're talking minimum 6 months. A head drawing class would be minimum six, just the class alone, and then it'd take you another year to absorb the material. But for today, I wanted to show you how the silhouette is arguably the most important tool, especially in the poster artist, cover artist's toolkit, is nailing the silhouette. Why? Because the silhouette is a psychological read. It's unique to all of us. And then the second most important tool in the poster artist tool belt to get the quick likeness is the interior shapes, which are basically silhouettes but on the inside. And those usually come with shadow shapes. And to nail the silhouette, you need to do two things. One, correctly identify their head type, exaggerate their head type, and then kind of exaggerate their subtle nuances or differences. If someone has a really strong cheekbone, pop that out. Jawbone, pop that out. If someone has a strong, high angular cheekbone, pop that out. If someone has uh, maybe interesting hair shape, someone has a wide neck, you know, all of these you can use to get that read, and that's the name of the game. We are desperately trying to get that poster read. So whatever unique tools you can, whatever unique features is the word. Whatever unique features the specific actor, actress, or character you has, use them, exaggerate them a little bit, and that'll help you get that silhouette read. All right, all right. So let me pause here, take some questions here, and we'll kind of stop the stream here. Surrender Wands in the UK. Hello, sir. Warner Chang says, I am taking a half-year online art class. Hope they would get it. Wow. Warner Chang, yeah, thank you for joining us live. Let me know in the comments what kind of class. This is interesting. I was just looking at Brainstorm School. They have really long classes. Brainstorm School is an entertainment school that have online classes now. Yeah, let me know, Warner Chang, what kind of class you're taking. This is interesting. A 6-month. What do you think of online art classes? To be honest, I'm not a fan, believe it or not. You know, even though I teach online, I sell video courses, I'm not a fan of online learning, because I believe you need the person standing over your shoulder. This is how I learned and how I got good fast. This was me. This was my drawing board. Here's a model on a stage, right? And here was the teacher standing over me. You can't get this online. Now, I mean, obviously, one of the things I'm trying to do is offer more critiques and feedback. But when you're there in person, if you're in a class with a person for 3 hours, you'll get feedback, you know, boom, spontaneous feedback. And so that's and I also believe that oh God. So you have the teacher here. Let's say the teacher is here is drawing, and they're drawing the model on the stage, right? Here's the teacher. This would be me. I would be right over his damn shoulder. I'd be going boop whoop whoop question question. Hey 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 hey. How do you do that? How do you do? I would be in his face the whole time. That's hard to replace. There's a picture of me at Nathan Fowkes, one of Nathan Fowkes' classes. There's a picture of me. I'm in the front row, and I'm like 2 feet away from Nathan. I would get closer if I could, and I'm like leaning in, trying to get as close to him as possible, because I believe this is so weird. I know this may sound really weird, but there's a word called osmosis. Osmosis. It's a biological term. I don't know what it means, but I think plants can absorb nutrients from each other. Any of you biologists out there, I'm going to look it up. Osmosis. I don't know why I associate this word with art. Oh, it says molecules pass through a semi-permeable membrane from a less concentration to the other, equalizing concentration of each other. Well, basically, um, particles can pass through you. I believe if you're in a room with a very good person, a master artist, some of his knowledge will pass through you just by you being there. I know it sounds crazy. It's called osmosis. Um, I believe if you spend time with him, some of his knowledge and skill, you'll just absorb it if you're a good student. Comment below if you kind of know what I'm saying, because it's, I don't know about you, but I found this to be true. If you're in a room, let's say this is me, and this is why this is answering the online question. Let's say this is me. Let's say this is the teacher, right? And let's say there's 10 other students in the room. And guess what? There probably 3 or 4 of them are pretty damn good too, right? They're pretty damn good too. You know what I'm saying? Let's say you had the teacher who's a master. Let's say you're with Steve Houston's class, and I've taken Steve Houston's class. Three people were already professionals. In Kevin Chen's class, probably half the room will be professionals. 2 of them will be probably professionals who are very successful. So you have one person giving you osmosis, knowledge through osmosis, another person, and another person, and another person. So I know we're not plants, right? But I firmly believe if you spend time with high level people, they will lift you up in some way. They will lift you up. So, this is answering the online question. Sorry, it's a long answer, but this is why I believe in person is the best. It's very hard to replace, but I know, you know, I know it's very difficult to get this, and online helps because it kind of, you can kind of do this online. You can't really answer the questions real time, but let's say you get feedback once a month, twice a month, once a week, like a proper online class, we'll get once a week. I had a mentee recently, and we met once a week. We met once a week, and he got good really fast. I was in Thailand. He was in America. Um, New Masters also has coaching. I was a coach for them, and you meet once a month with your coach. So, but the more of this you can do, um, and in person, if you live in the same city, I was calling Mark every day. I would go to his house every day, every other day. So it was way more than once a week. All right, that's Warner Chang's answer. You have done this Madonna before. I've seen it at private school seminar. Yes, I did. I love this picture. Thank you, Chin. Chris, do you have any more courses for any plan any more or brainstorm? You know what Jawad says? That's a great question. I want to contact Brainstorm. I do know James Pake personally and John Park. So I will contact them. Um, I was when I lived in LA many years ago. This was 4 years ago, 3 years ago now. Brainstorm School just opened, and we were in talks for me to run their life drawing workshop at their Burbank school. So unfortunately, that didn't happen because I moved to Asia. So I do know James Pake personally. Hi, Chris. You mentioned you're in your 40s, that you put down Arab Associates in Art. Did you take movie poster illustration, Mike Butkus? No. And so there was a school in Los Angeles called Associates in Art. It was founded by Mark Westermo. In that school, Mike Butkus, the greatest sketch artist alive right now, he had his studio was on the second floor. And he also taught maybe once a week, once every term, he taught a movie poster class. And you know what's sad, Jawad Spartan, is that I fucking lived across the street. I am so pissed. I literally lived across the street from Associates, but I never took a class there. And I don't know why. I think at the time I was so obsessed with video games. that I've like, movie poster, whatever, eh. I, I was trying, I was building a portfolio for video games. I was actually studying 3D at the time, and this was the last year Associates was fucking open, and I'm so pissed. Anyway, that's a fuck. So the answer is no. God damn it. Um, uh, Kevin Chen is one of your mentors. Yeah. Oh man, I deeply admire Kevin Chen. I took his class several times. I used to run the uh, the long pose. I used to run the long pose workshop at CDA. It's a school that Kevin Chen founded. I deeply, deeply admire him. I should contact him again. Anybody watching who's never heard of Kevin Chen, Google Kevin Chen figure drawing notes. This will blow your mind. Anybody who's never heard of him, and I think Jawad and Mr. Chin would know this. Google Kevin Chen figure drawing notes, and you will have your mind numbed by this man's teaching. He is one of the most. He is one of the greatest second generation. He arguably is the greatest second generation teacher. Meaning, second generation is after Mark, at, directly after Mark or directly under Steve. So technically, I would be a second generation, but I would count myself as a. I'm just a lifelong student. Charles is second generation Steve Houston, Charles Hugh. Kevin Chen is second generation of Mark and Steve actually, and Glenn Vilppu. He's just he's a fucking genius in a lot of ways. I deeply admire that man. Warner Chang got too bored these days. Oh man, sorry to hear. I've taken Brian Lee online. Wow, man, Brian Lee is he's one of Kevin Chen's mentees. I fucking love Brian Lee's work. I never met him in person. I would love to just take his class to see what he's doing. I love his work. I don't know how he is as a teacher, but I'm assuming he I'm assuming he teaches similar to Kevin. I really love I love what he's doing too. I'm a big fan of Brian Lee. I've seen Mark Riley's method cast drawing. Yes, that's a great one. Brian De Jesus. Yes, videos and MA wealth of info. Love the way concept. Any tips for getting the most out of video lessons? I draw along, but I feel like I never get anything. Yeah, Brian made a great comment. Drawing along helps. So Bryant made a great comment, and I think it's related to what I was saying here. One thing you could do, Bryant, is, and I tell this to all of my online students, is I say, find the best artist in your area, and go spend time with them. If you can't find the best artist, find the best people. Put together a crew. Find the best young artists around your age, around your level, and spend time with them. And I know it's really difficult now, but because I think if you work alone in a vacuum, it's great, but eventually you get bored, you lose motivation. So if you have people around you that can help push you, and I know it's very difficult, especially now. Um, and also, Bryant, if you can afford it, obviously I would pay for some kind of critique model. Find a way to pay for an expert's time. And I know it's very costly. Believe me, I know. I spent money myself. Jawad says Watts has great online class for Rally Method. Eric just is good. Robert Watts, our best teacher at school, but all instructors are good. Yeah. Watts is he's Jeff's was taught by Mark, so yeah, he's good. Last question, Chris. Do the clients give you allowance or reimburse you for materials, or do you buy supplies? That's a great question. I've never asked for reimbursement for materials. I know other people probably get that. And it all depends on what level you are. Let's say you're at a Butkus level. Let's say you've been with BLT or a client or Art Machine for 10 years, and the art director just loves you and trusts you. If you ask him, hey, I need $100 for a electric eraser, he'll probably do it. If you're brand new and you ask for $100 for electric sharpener, electric eraser, you ain't gonna get it. But you can definitely write it off for taxes. I do that. I do write off everything. Bernardo says, caught Mark's figure and head drawing anime. His strategies are so clear. Yeah, Mark. Unfortunately, yeah, anime has his archive, but man, he yeah, his health was failing quite a bit at that time, unfortunately. But information is still good. I'm surprised to learn that his hands weren't working so well at the time. Yeah, his hands, his vision was falling apart. I believe it's because his organs. He is suffering from lots of problems. Lots of organ problems. He was in his 60s and his body was falling apart rapidly. Unfortunately, he died shortly after. Bernardo, is it worth trying to hit studios up even though I don't live in the States? Is there any part of the job? Yes, that's a great question. What I would do, Bernardo, is it worth studios up? Yes, yes. If you have a banging portfolio, what I would do, Bernardo, is work for the highest profile studio in your region or country. There has to be one. Go work for them, and build up your name slowly. That's what I would do. For example, I'm in Thailand, and you know what? I hit up. There's a there's a poster company in Thailand. I hit them up. We haven't met in person yet, but I got in touch with the art director. I may not work there, but at least I could build a relationship, see what's up. Um, and also Bernardo, if you can't get like a proper job at the highest profile studio in your area, I don't know if you want to do comics or games or whatever. Find a professional. I would build a relationship with a professional. I talked about that briefly yesterday. We'll talk more about that another time. Hope that helps. Brian Days. Osmosis is the ability of water to pass through a membrane. Thank you, Brian. Yeah, water and nutrients can pass through a membrane. So for us, it's skin. Can knowledge pass through you through osmosis? Low, Chris, I would have thought of when comparing the benefits of real life versus an online school. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I teach in MMA. I teach privately. I have online mentees. My last one was in America. But yeah, the in person you just can't beat. Now, I would say the best thing to do, like I was saying to Bryant, is that if you can get some type of feedback system where you get the feedback, that's the big difference. If you can get feedback, ideally, you know, once a month would be great. Once a week would be better. You know what I mean? So the more feedback you can get, the better. The feedback, the critiques, the comment. Um, Jawad says, illustration of teacher over the student. That's how Carl was all over me, 9 to 10. Yes, osmosis is real. Yes, Spartan, Jawad went to several, I believe Jawad lives in LA. So he's able to go to the same places that I went to. And he studied with a man named Karl Dobsky, who's more of the realist type. Very good draftsperson, very good teacher from what I've seen. I've never met him in person. Chin, spiritual person, yes. It's definitely better to be in an in-person class, but that's not available online. It's the next best thing. I wish I could attend a live class. Yeah, um, yeah. Online is great. I'm not knocking it, but I'm saying if you want to get good quickly, this is way. And again, going back to the feedback mechanism, if you can get some of that, that would be the best. I love learning online. It's affordable, but it does require one to better their own critique. Trick is not to be harsh or too lax. Yeah, yeah. And also, Bryant, like I was saying earlier, try to get feedback from other good artists in your area. Not necessarily like a professional or a teacher, but someone that has really good skills. Someone maybe on your level or better, ideally better. I'm sure having a teacher would speed up learning process. Yes, that's true. I signed up for NMA coaching. Still want to be contacted, but I'm excited. Still waiting. I wish I could in real life. It's better. Yeah, Eden just said sign up for the coaching. Yeah, I believe Ilya is one of the coaches. I don't know if you have to pay extra for him, but he's definitely would give great feedback. Hello, Chris. Would you advise the hobbyist going to attend live? Keep on improving. Oh, hello, David. That's a fantastic question. Um, well, hobbyist to me is defined as someone who has a full-time job, maybe, or retired, has other occupation, and can only draw maybe 3 hours a week, 3 days a week. Um, One thing you could do, D Wade, is if you don't know, like try to stick to one thing over as and carry it through. So, for example, let's say right now you want to be good at, you're really interested in portraits. Maybe you're retired, or you're a full-time computer programmer, or you're a full-time engineer, and your hobby is portrait drawing. So I would go find the best portrait artist that you like. There's so many out there, and I would find their material, and I would stick through it for 3 months, 6 months, whatever. Just stick with that one person for a while, and kind of supplement your training. Let's say, for example, you want to learn portraits. Let's say I was a hobbyist, and I want to learn from Casey Bao. He's one of my favorite fine art portrait artists, Casey Bao. He has some online material, I believe. I don't know exactly where. But I would find his stuff, and I would just imitate his stuff. I would study his stuff for 3 months until I kind of got the idea of it or got bored, and then I would move on. But I hope that helps. Stick to one thing, and one expert at a time. Don't try to go, don't try to branch out too much, and that will kind of give you like a singular focus, because a singular focus will help keep you going long term, I think. Hope that answered your question. Study with Glenn Villepeu? No. Glenn was more of the animation type trainer. All, so no, I was more interested in illustration. Bryant says, all artists in my area focus on expressive. Oh my God, that's awful. Expression side of art, I hate that. Uh, I'm not even amazed. I'm better than most learning on my own time, mostly to anime and books. Oh, that is awful. I think what Brian is saying, that most artists around him aren't into realism, which is it's tough. Yeah, realists are hard to find. Man, what would I do? What would I do? Mm. Even me, Bryant, I'm currently in Bangkok, Thailand, and there are realists, but they're really far away, and especially now during COVID-19, it's hard to meet with them. And if I wasn't semi-famous, I would not have found them. They actually contacted me. Um, what would I do if I was in Bangkok, Thailand? Because in Asia, first of all, you can't draw nude people in Asia. Asia is very, very conservative. And Thailand is less conservative than, let's say, a Muslim country like Malaysia, or India. I don't know, Mr. Chin or other Indian viewers, how conservative is nudity in India. I'm not quite sure, but I'm sure it's close to Thailand. And I know in China you can get nudity, so um, there are realist schools in China, very good ones. So what would I do if I was in Thailand and I needed to connect with realists? Holy cow, what would I do? Oh my God. If I was studying Western academic realism and I'm in Bangkok, Thailand, what would I do to connect with other good artists? Whew. And I didn't speak Thai, that would be even more problematic. Whew, what would I do? That is tough. Probably I would join a meetup.com. Meetup.com would have some groups. I would form my own. If there wasn't one, I would form my own. That's what I would do. So that's the answer, Bryant, is if you don't have a realistic group, Western art group of artists, form your own damn group. That's what I would do. I would form my own group of Western art, illustrative art, realistic art, anime fans. I would form my own damn group, and it would not happen overnight. That would take years. Unfortunately, it's going to be tough. That is tough. That's a great question. Eden says, "What do you think is the best way to get the most out of NMA coaching? Sign up for 1 year each week and one call from a master each month." Nice, Eden. Congratulations. What do you think the best way to get the most NMA coaching? What I would do, Eden, and this is what I do in person in a live class. I would do this. I would grill that MF. I'd be like, every hour I would send him an email. Oh, hey, how do I do this? Hey, look at my work. Hey, check out this sketch. What do you think? Hey, I drew my hand. Hey, I saw this artist. I did a master copy. Hey. I would send him an email every 30 minutes. I'd be like, well, every time you do a drawing or a sketch or a master copy, I would say, hey, I did this. What do you think? Hey, I did this. What do you think? Hey. That's exactly what I do when I'm in person. When I'm in person, I ask a question every 5 minutes. Hey, how do you do that? Hey. And when I go home, I send them an email. Hey, I did this. Hey, Mark, I did this. Hey, Steve, this is how I built a relationship with Steve Houston. I send him email every week, every 2 weeks. Hey, Steve, I did this. Hey. Does that make sense? I would grill. I would draw as much as possible, and I would be in their face, emailing them constantly, and then you'll get noticed. So when it comes time for the person coaching, you'd be like, oh my God, this Eden person is like is so is really putting in the time. You'll probably get more time from your coach and your mentee, your mentor, if you do that. Hope that makes sense. Just grill them. Just keep grilling them. Don't be afraid to shoot out emails and questions. You know, I would say at least one a week, one a day, if not more. But you got to put in the effort, right? Hopefully you have some free time now. That's what I would do. I would be drawing as much as possible, minimum, 1 2 couple hours a day, and send them what I'm doing. Justin says, Kucha still doing posters. Yes, I don't know now. I need to contact him. That's a great. Kucha is a beast, and he doesn't make his work public that much. At least not his poster work, but his poster work is incredible, and he's a finisher. He does finishes. Last time I talked to Ku, he was working in house as a sketch artist, so he got a full time jobby job. He stopped freelancing. Mr. Chin says, hard to find nude model in India. Yes, art school struggle to find one. Yes. I believe in China. I know in Russia they put the bikini on the men, which is fine. So we've been talking for a long time. Thank you all for joining me. I really appreciate you coming on live, asking these awesome questions. I hope they've been helpful. And tomorrow there's no stream to making a video series on this right now on getting likeness. So that'll be on the normal YouTube channel. So if you're watching this live or on the replay, leave a comment. Let me know what topic you want to talk next. I think I'm going to take a break from this poster series for a while and do other, take a break from the poster series and do something else related to it, more on the illustration and the realism side and the business side. I really appreciate your time today, guys. I hope that this can, help you make the most of this time, help you grow as a person. We are in some strange times, but I feel this getting better. I don't know how you guys feel, but I feel that the global situation is starting to improve, at least where I am. I feel like less people are fearful. I'm in Thailand right now. I see less people wearing masks. I feel less fear in the air. I feel like, there's a lot of people that are actually recovering, those who do get COVID. There's a lot of people really recovering and not getting that sick, which you don't hear about in the news. I don't know if it's true. I'm skeptical of all of it, but to me, it feels like if the world feels a little bit healthier. We're starting to come out of hiding. At least that's what I feel. So I hope that you stay healthy. I hope your family's healthy, and I hope that you can stay drawing during this time. And I hope to see you next time online. Thank you.